Hello, 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 my friends, my friends. Welcome, 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 welcome. Woo, baby, I'm on fire. You are also on fire, my friends. Oh, my goodness, my goodness. Something's happening here this evening. Something's brewing right here at Empower Media Global Studios. My name is Jesus DJ Perez, and I'd like to welcome you this evening of beautiful Saturday night, March 1st, where we get to enjoy another empowering time together. As mentioned, my name is Jesus DJ Perez. I'm a global preacher and I'm a live streamer that love to promote encouraging content, empowering content on like everyone that you see online most of the time. You see a lot of negative content. I don't mean everybody posting negative content, but a lot of people do post a lot of really trashy stuff. And toxicity, negativity, drama, the tea, and it's like no, pump the brakes, pump the brakes. I am not into any of that, and I choose to be very careful how I manage my energy. I get to be very careful how I select those who I spend my time with, my priorities, so who am I hanging out with, what am I doing, where am I going, and things along the lines, right? It's been one of those things that we have the possibilities, the power, and the choice to choose how we spend our energy and where we spend our energy, right? But also it's very important to know how we get our energy impacted, influenced, or perhaps pushed around by other people, right? So it's super important to keep that in mind. Super important to acknowledge that you and I have the power to select or to reject or to accept or to embrace other people's energies or other people's thoughts, agendas, or whatnot. And that's just it. Like, you know what I mean? That's just it. Not because somebody comes in and tries to give you the whole dramatic week worth of toxicity and negativity doesn't mean that you have to embody that. Yes, it's okay to listen, to be there, to be empathetic, to be compassionate, and to be willing to help and open your arms to those around you. But when people are only using you as a punching bag, when people are using you only like a garbage can where they can dump anything on you, well, my friends, you see, that's where we have an opportunity to be mindful of what we do, what we bring into our mind, what we bring into our heart, and what we allow other people to see and to influence and to reflect in our life, right? So that's just what I love to for you to know, to acknowledge the fact that we have the capabilities to protect our energy. You see, my friends, a lot of people that I've been talking to that are probably about 20 years younger than yours truly. I've been asking them and questioning and picking their brain, trying to understand whether that generation around the 20s, are into self-care, into living a peaceful life, living life at ease, and or do they just continue to be involved around dramatic, toxic, negative conversations, right? And more specifically, I'm referring to one of my daughters, my older daughter, right? She's a wisdomess, and she's she just knows exactly how to better support me. And she's been my one of my right hands when it comes to my content for the last 10, 12 years or something. I don't always talk to her about my content, but when I hit a plateau, I like to pick her brain and just kind of have someone else's perspective and opinion of what's happening and what's going on, right? So in this case, when I approached her yesterday and I said, hey, I'm just wondering about this type of content and what are your thoughts? Mindfulness, simple life lessons like the ones I teach here, and things like that. So she mentioned that the community, her group age, is very much into it, and they are starting to see what life is like. They're no longer in high school. They're no longer transitioning into newborn adults per se, but essentially they are newborn adults where they are learning to adopt the uh, the philosophies, the society norms and regulations, and paying bills and having to pay for your cell phone and having to buy groceries and cook and clean and the whole responsibilities as a whole, right? That's why I refer to her generation as a newborn adults, and so she was saying that it's definitely something trending a lot in her generation, where there are a lot of people that are really interested in just finding their way through life. See, my friends, the reason why, one of the many reasons why I share a lot of simple life lessons, my own teachings from a biblical background, from biblical teachings and experiences and testimonies, I share all of these with you with the desire to show to you that you're not alone, first and foremost, that you're not the only person dealing with ABC, that there are many people out there, like myself, that have gone through our fair share of struggles, and we still have our fair share of storms, struggles, and situations through life. But through simple techniques, strategies, tools that I teach through my live streams, I get to drop hints and again, tips, tools, and strategies of what to do or how to cope with certain situations, how to deal with certain struggles, or what to look for. Right, so that's the type of content that I produce. That's the type of content that you get to enjoy here at on my YouTube channel. And when I do open the doors to my Facebook community, like the month of February, I was running a 23-day gratitude journey with my Facebook community as well with my YouTube community. And let me tell you, it was so good, so unreal to see people from everywhere. As we previously, before fully migrating to YouTube, we were live streaming on Facebook for years, man, for years. And we were able to connect with people all over the world. So now, once again, my familia, my amigos and amigas, thank you so much for supporting us, for being here present with us, and for always showing up ready to embody and to embrace something else in life. Well, my friends, there's one thing that I definitely want to touch on this evening, and that's about patience and how through life we have gotten used to things like convenience factor. Like a microwave is a convenient factor, where you come in and you press a bunch of buttons, beep, 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 and then 20 seconds later, 30 seconds later, a minute later, your meal is warm and ready to go. In some cases, you can cook an entire meal on inside your microwave, and not that I recommend doing that, but sure, you can definitely nuke some potatoes, and 7 to 10 to 15 minutes later, that potato it's nuke. That's why it's called and that. But that potato is ready to be eaten instead of spending perhaps an hour baking it in the oven. You know what I mean? So convenience has become part of our everyday life. But on the other side of that, when you flip the coin, it has also make us impatient. It's made us to a point where we don't want to wait for anything. You see, if you look at the statistics on the time span of attention span on someone's when they're looking at a cell phone, or when they're visiting a website, or when they're watching a video or whatever, the time span, the attention span from those individuals has dropped to under 10 seconds. So that means if I don't catch your attention within the first 7 seconds, you probably already scrolled through past my videos. Right? And that's okay for me, because I am not here to just give you a 7-second teaching. That'd be ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, it's not possible. I cannot give you a teaching in 7 seconds. So that's why my content is long format content, 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, where I get to spend a little bit of time and I drop one teaching, one story, one tool, one strategy. But generally speaking, when I spend time with my students on my paid programs, my group programs, I spend anywhere between 60 to 90 minutes per session, and then we go 8 weeks at a time, right? Sure, we don't meet every single day, but we meet a couple times a week, where there is 1.5 hour lesson, and then teachings and follow-ups through the week. So as I said, I cannot condense a whole week worth of teaching into 7 seconds. So if you're still watching this video here after the 7.5 minute mark that we just passed, first and foremost, I want to thank you, and I want to acknowledge you, the fact that you are here watching my content still. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you. I love you. Trust me. And with that being said, being impatient about things in life does not serve a purpose for anybody. You see, when I was a kid, and I've been impatient myself for a long, long time. When I was a kid, my parents divorced when I was about 4 years old. And then for many years, I didn't get to see my dad. Many, many, many years. I don't know how many, but many years. And my dad needed to have some space for his son and, grow up and, go through whatever he needed to go through. Right? I love my dad, by the way. And so did my mom. Needed to grow up and raise me for the first few years with my grandma, and then we were able to also have spend time for ourselves. But you see, why I'm saying this to you is because there was a time where I got to see my dad. I would go to visit him at somewhere in the city that he was working at. So my mom and I would get up early in the morning, would get dressed and shower and everything, and we would jump on a bus that would take about 2 hours to get to the city where my dad would be working. And that's Mexico City, by the way. And then from there, we would have to commute, whether it was another bus or taking the subway for another 45 minutes to an hour. And eventually, we would make it to my dad's workplace. But my mom and my dad would make arrangements, let's say, to meet up at 10 p.m. or 2 p.m. or whatever time, right? But it'd be, 10 minutes past, 15 minutes past, 20 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour and a half, 2 hours later, my dad would still not come out of work. And now I get it, because he used to work in the restaurant industry. And when you work in the restaurant industry, you have a starting point, but you don't have an end time, right? How many of you have worked in the restaurant industry and know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Well, that was the case with my dad. He would start work at early in the morning, but there was not end time for him. So many times, mom and I would have to be waiting for him just to finish, sitting outside on the sidewalk, and we couldn't go anywhere because my dad could come out any minute. And the moment he would come out of work, he would exchange with my mom, like, hey, here is your son, and okay, here is his clothes. See you guys after the weekend, kind of idea, right? So it's not like we could go anywhere. So we had to be stuck literally outside my dad's work for countless minutes and hours sometimes. In the meantime, I'd be so concerned and worried why my dad was taking so long to come out. Well, my friends, that's how my impatientness, if that's even a word, right, started to develop. Because I was like, I started to feel the bite of my dad not caring enough to come out of work. But as I said, I was a kid. Now I get it. Now as I look back and I'm like, yeah, I understand, he was working. But when I was a kid, most kids don't get it, man. We just don't understand those type of things. So it makes us impatient even more. So if I was naturally impatient, having to deal with situations like that made me even more impatient. So as I got older and as I became a business owner and an entrepreneur, I decided that was going to become part of my formation, part of my foundation, part of myself, my ethics. And I said that I was not going to be late when I was going to meet with my clients. And I made every possible effort to show up on time, even 5 minutes before if possible, so I would not have anybody waiting for me. I would rather wait for them a few minutes and give people a fair amount of time, 10, 15 minutes to finish commuting, or because you never know, right? But you see, that's where understanding and being understandable about the situation comes in, right? Being a little bit lenient with those things. But sometimes, and I'm just going to finish with this, my friends, so many times when we are praying and we're asking God to come forward and to answer our prayers, we get so impatient. We question God. We question whether our dad or Heavenly Father cares about us, whether He's listening to our prayers, whether He's going to show up, or if He's going to keep us waiting and waiting and waiting, just like my dad used to do. Right? We expect that God answers to us just like a microwave cooks a meal, that quick. We expect God to give us what we ask, like an ATM when you go ask for money and the ATM spits out the money for you. So we are expecting God to respond to us when we deem to be the best time. But what we don't understand many times, or most of the time, and I speak out of experience, believe me, what we don't understand is that it's not on my time, but it's in God's times. Because His plans are not my plans, and His purposes are not my purposes. Whatever I can think of doing, God's plans are way better. So if God is telling me to wait and wait and wait and wait a little bit longer and keep on waiting and continue on waiting, there is a reason that I may not see, that might tick me off, but there is a purpose as well. There is a reason, and there is a purpose, and there is divine timing that I might not comprehend. But my friends, that's when patience becomes so important. And believe me, when I pray, nobody, I don't think nobody goes, it's like, God, help me, give me more patience, please. Right? But God gives us the opportunities to practice patience. So now let me ask you, as we're finishing off for this evening, let me ask you, are there any areas of your life that you need to develop your patience a little bit more? Are there any relationships, are there any conversations that you should be more patient, more understanding, more lenient perhaps? Or are you expecting quick, now, here and now, here and now? Because let me tell you guys, if we are expecting the here and now, we're forgetting to appreciate what we have already been given. We're forgetting to appreciate what's before us, in front of us. And that, my friends, you are letting beautiful moments in life pass right through your hands, through your fingers, right? So I like to encourage you this evening to, as you're practicing patience and as you identify those areas that require patience, I invite you to continue trusting the process, continue trusting God's process and God's timing. Because at the end of the day, you can get mad all day long, you can hump and puff and push and scream and yelp or whatever, but if God says wait, guess what? God kind of have to wait though. You know what I mean? So my friends, thank you so much for being here this evening, and I'm gonna wrap things up in here because guess what? I have some guests waiting for me downstairs to eat dinner and to enjoy the Saturday evening celebration. So thank you, my beautiful YouTube familia. I love you. I really, really appreciate your support. And if you came all the way from Facebook and joined us this evening as well, thank you, my beautiful Facebook familia, followers and fans. You guys are amazing, amazing, amazing. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful evening. Stay in power and stay beautiful.